Okay, let's first introduce myself. My name is Ismail El Sayed. I have a PhD in computer science. I finished my PhD in Lille University, it is in France. And I did my master in computer engineering. It was in Germany, in Duisburg, Essen University. I'm glad to be your instructor today. And today we are going to just make an introduction about the content of the course, what you are going to expect in this course, and what is the content for this course during this semester. As far as you know, that this course is online only, which means that attendance is not required. However, as I have already said in my email, it is highly recommended that you join live session in order, if you have any question, you can't ask that question during the live session. If you can't, still you can join online virtual office, or you can come to my office according to the schedule that we will discuss it now and have already uploaded to the syllabus. Simarjeet, yeah? I'm saying your name correctly?
Yes, it's Simranjeet.
Okay, good.
You can call it Simran.
Cement.
Simran.
Simran, I can say Simran. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Perfect. So tell me about yourself. It is which year you are?
I'm a third year student in Bachelor of Computer Information Systems, and currently I'm in India.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm pursuing majors in software engineering.
I see. So what do you expect from this course? What do you expect from when you said object-oriented modeling and design, what do you expect to learn in this course?
I plan to learn about the software, like how the softwares are modeled, like how the UML is used in that.
I see. So it is a programming course, or it is not a programming course?
It seems to be more of like a non-programming course, but we may discuss about the patterns. I think I'm unsure about that as of now.
Yeah, it is not a programming course. We will focus more about analysis and design, which is the pre-step before implementation. So today, the lecture outline will be that we'll talk about the course administration, and then we will discuss what is a software development models, overview of object-oriented analysis and design. Then we will talk overview about UML tools, and we will summarize and conclude with what we will learn in this course. So we will talk about the different subjects that we will see during this semester in this course. Today we will discuss what are the subjects that we are going to see in this course. First, concerning course administration. So as far as you say, you know that you should have already finished the STI 270 and computer 203 and 251 before you join this course. If somebody still have problem with some prerequisite, he can drop me an email to discuss with me about if he has some conflict with some of the prerequisite for this course. The main textbook will be Learn and Apply UML and Patterns. So this is the main textbooks. However, we will use additional resources like practical object-oriented design. We will use it so much also. Practical software development using ML and Java 2 Edition, plus other online resources. But I think that the material that will be in the lecture, they are more than sufficient for you as a reference for this course. So I think that all the material concerning the course will be included in the lecture notes. So they are, as I've already said, you don't have to refer the book, but always you can refer the book for further reading. The grading schema, maybe you see it's strange that we don't have a midterm, we don't have a quizzes. I believe since it is an online courses, and it's talk about modeling and analysis and design. So I believe we will have a real case scenarios and mini projects will be I will send to you as an assignment. So I will be more than happy to see you are dealing with real case scenarios and make the analysis and design that we are going to learn and apply it to this scenario rather than making quizzes and midterms. So take the assignment seriously because 70% will be for the assignment. And we will have, at the end of this semester, we'll have a final exam, it will be 30%. So if you do all your assignment in a correct way, in a seriously way, so you will, for sure, you will get a good grade in this course. As I have already said at the beginning that the attendance will be online, so attendance is not, maybe it is the first session, you are not all involved in this, but try your best for the next session that you will join the live session because it is very important you interact between in this session to understand more about what we're talking about. And it will be a good opportunity to discuss material live while we are giving the lectures. So it is not Tuesday, this is it is Monday, sorry. This was a course. So, and as already said, we are going to record everything and all the session will be recorded and then I will share with you the recorded link for this session. Office hour will be, we will talk about later about office hours, but let's talk more about the philosophy for our teaching here this course. We will have interactive learning, which means that even though it is not, it is optional in the live session, but and I can record the lectures and send it to you, but I believe that we should have interactive live session. I will be your team leader or your team coach more than instructor because as I have already said, this course talk about how you can analyze and then how you can modelize what the different requirements for a computer software engineering project. So we work as a team. And as mentioned before, the lecture note will be other roadmaps. This roadmaps for you that for the whole course and that the material that included in the lecture note will be more than sufficient for you. Concerning office hour timetable, for example, today I will be in my office. Who live in Canada, they can come to my office. Today and Monday, from 2 to 4:30, I will be on office. No appointment needed, just you can drop in. And also on Friday, we have a drop-on office hour from early morning 9:30 to 12:30. And Thursday and Friday, we will have an online virtual office, which means if you study the material and you still have some questions, you can join them. It will be via Zoom. I have already shared with you the Zoom via Blackboard. So if you go to the Blackboard, you can see the link for the Zoom. Why Zoom? Because in Zoom there will be an waiting room. So sometimes there are more than students joining from different, let's say, sections. So maybe I will keep you in the waiting room till the other student finished with me. So, however, it's better that you can send me an email if you want to join the virtual office, online virtual office. In this case, I will book for you a time slot in order not to have so much overlap with others. Simran, do you have any questions so far? I'm not hearing you now.
It's clear.
No. Okay, perfect. Yeah, we will have Brainus Murphy. Brainus Murphy, I like this Murphy. He always join our courses. Brainus Murphy will ask us different questions. So it will be cool questions. So if we know the questions, it will be perfect. If not, Angry Smurf will be here. So, and in order that Angry Smurf, he's a very tough person, although not he join us. So let's answer all the questions for Brainy. Okay. So first, what is a software? First question from Brainy. What is a software? Simran, since I'm sorry, you are the only person today here, so no worry, I will help you.
Software is something that is coded, or like it is something that can't be touched, like the applications in our computer. They're the software
applications,
part.
good. So
yeah,
there are applications that
helps to.
Yeah. Do you know what different types of software we have?
The different types of software. The different types of software can be like, one are related to the hardware, that controls the hardware part. I'm sure about that.
Let's say not and hybrid type.
And one's user applications.
Okay, no worry. So it is a collection of programs. But with this program will be sometimes documentation and configuration. Documentation how to use this program, or will be sometimes a documentation for developer if it is an open source program. So, but there are three major types of product: the generic type product, the customized product, the embedded product. So when we said generic product, it is a product that you can go to the market and buy it, like Office, like antiviruses, like operating system Windows. So they are a predefined generic software that can be used by all customers, and they don't need any customization. However, some clients will ask us for a customized product like the Airbnb product, Airbnb app, McDonald's app. So they are software that are already implemented for special needs for this customer. And by the way, for us, customized product, it is more in our case. So we have to learn more. If I have a customized product, if I have a client, I am a software engineer, and later maybe I will run my own business, or I will have to work in a company. So I will have different clients that they will contact me because they need a software that will help them to fulfill a special requirement. So in this case, this customized product, in our course, we are going to learn how we have this customized product based on different requirements and specification, how we can make a good planning and a good design and a good analysis in order that when we started with the implementation, we will not have so much disasters that maybe now we will talk about different disasters happen with software development in a big scale. So there will be a challenge. Sometimes it's a challenge about if you don't understand well and manage the complexity. When I said I don't understand well, which means you don't understand the user or the client side requirement. There will be a late overrunning cost when there is a late, which means that it took much time that I have already expected, and then I have to pay. It costs me more, and maybe in this case I will be over budget, and this project will let me lose money, and I will not have any income from this project. So sometimes you make a project, but you don't make it in a systematic way. The architecture of the software will be not a good architecture, and then when lately you want to make a maintenance or update, you will have a very tough time because you don't know how you are going to make this update, because you don't make a very good structure in a way it can be maintained and updated in an easy way. So now let's discuss about what is the famous software disaster. For example, here, Ariane 5 spacecraft launch system. This was a project that was started in '84. Yeah, before that was Ariane 4, before this, until 1995. This project was a European project. and it's almost 10 European countries they have to work in this project. The main country was France. They have to make a spacecraft, and this spacecraft, after and when they have to make the initial start for this, it crashed after 37 seconds. So after 37 seconds, 10 years, and $7 billion they are turned into dust. As simple as this. And now we will be shocked if we will know what is the reason for this. After they make different investigations, they said, okay, this happened because the software that used to control this spacecraft, there was a converting overflow. Oh, converting overflow, which means that they have to use integer variable to store floating type. You will see it is a silly one, but really this is what happened. This happened because before they use Ariane 5, there was Ariane 4. So they use the system for Ariane 4 without making a good analysis for the new requirement. So in the Ariane 4, the requirement was not to store this floating variable, let's say floating number in this integer variable. So this is happening because they have a bad analysis for the specification as a requirement for the new project based on updated project. So it's crashed, and it was really disaster because 10 years work gone like this, and billions of dollars they are turned into dust. There is another disaster that happens, like Denver Airport automated package system. By the way, this automated package system in Denver Airport, before the project was initiated and the project started usage in the airport, they have to make a very big propaganda that it is the first airport that have an automatic package system. But what happens that after they started with it shows up and misplaced bags in the past, and there are many damage happened to the bags. The problem with this is that there was not so much enough time to develop the system. When I said not enough time to develop the system, which means that they didn't take their time to make analysis and design in a good matter, because they were so hurry because they have a very close deadline, so they don't take time to have a good analysis and design. So and this is BAE company that had already designed, implemented the system. It doesn't have a good experience in making a big scale project like this. So because they don't have any good experience in this, they didn't make a good design and implementation for the system. The last example that we have it today, it's about massive overdose radiation. This is CIRAC 25. It is an X-ray radiation machine. However, because the embedded software contains bugs, what happens that it exposes patients to massive overdose radiation. So based on this, there are 4 patients are killed, and two of them they have injury for lifelong injury, which means that they can't recover it 100%, and then this happened because of the embedded software. It was not good design. So to sum up, before we start implementing any project, we should have a good analysis and design and know what the project we are dealing with it in a very systematic way. Okay, so Brainy is asking another question. So based on this, we said that we have we have different stories in the history about a bad software and a bad equality. So how we can have a good equality? Simran, what do you think?
I think that we must look into the system design when we are implementing from some past version to a new version.
Okay.
That's really important. And we need to take care of the specific inputs that can be given to the system?
Yeah, you are telling me how we can do this. My question is, what are the characteristics? Which mean that if I say this software is good, what do you mean by this software is good? It has a good quality. What does this mean? What is the characteristics? What is the properties that it should have in order
It
to say
means
it is a good software?
if a software is good, then it does our work how we need it to do it.
You mean that it fulfill all the requirement?
Yeah.
Okay, this is point. Another one. You don't believe
And
that, for example, it should be secure?
it should be secure and it should be
Yeah.
even sometimes fast, like
Fast,
efficient.
perfect. So it is efficient one. Because if it was not efficient, it will waste the CPU time and the different resources in the machine where it run. So it should be also reliable, stable,
Yeah.
and it should be maintainable, which means that because if I made a software, I have a bad architecture for it, and somebody else want to go and work with the same code for this, and he can't understand the architecture of the software. So in this case, he can make a maintenance or an update. So should be easy to learn and use. This is talking about usability. It should be, as you have already said, should be efficient. So we don't waste resources such as CPU time and memory. It should be secure and safe, maintainable. There will be also because if there is any modification in the requirement, because sometimes you make a customized project and lately there are some new updates in the business, and this business now has a new requirement. So in this case, you should update the software based on the new business requirement. There
So
should be,
can we
yeah,
add
go
a
ahead.
scalability to it? Scalability.
Perfect. Yeah, I agree. Scalability. Perfect. You are correct. It should be also scalable because sometimes, especially if you make a project with a database system or a data mining, so if this data with the time will be increased, your system should always can afford this. It should always can work with a new scale of the data as being stored or from this. You are 100% correct. So now this is a question now about Brain is asking. Brain, it seems that now he doesn't know the answer. So his answer say, okay, he's thinking now with us, okay, we said this is a quality for good software. Okay, how we can reach this good quality software? How? So, okay, we agree now. We said to have a good software, we should have this efficient, reliable, as you already said, scalable, maintainable. So, okay, how I can do this?
So first of all, I think we need to look into the user requirements carefully, what they need, because if we are not having the user requirements perfectly, then we are going to end up having a software that is of no use to the user.
I see. So
And
you mean that we have to understand the user's requirement.
yes.
Okay, this is first point. But yeah, but even though if we go to we have a client now, this client, he have a restaurant and he want to make a point of sale for this restaurant. So if I go to the restaurant owner and sit with him and discuss with him with the requirement, and then what will be the next step? So I take a notes, I have a paper and write the notes for the requirement. What will be the next step? You don't believe that the next step will be how I modelize this requirement based in which template I have to use this requirement, how I can rewrite the requirement in a way, in a systematic way that we as a programmer can understand this. So collecting the requirement and modelizing the requirement will be based on a special template and a special development model. So the first step will be which model I have to use, development model. And after I use this development model, I have to go with the different phases and different methodology and different templates that they are related to this software development model. So the first step, okay, now I want to start a new software. I have to go to see my client and collect this client. I have to collect the client to collect the requirements from the client. So the question will say now, okay, good, perfect. What will be the next step? So I said, okay, first, what is the software development model that we are going to use? Simran, I made you mute just because there are some echo. So when you want to have any question, just unmute yourselves and mute yourself. Because now we are recording the lectures. So when the others will go and they have to play the lectures again, so in order not to have echo in the playing the lectures. So software development model. So software development model, they can prescribe different set of activities, action, tasks required, the work product required to engineer each high quality software. So in this model, it will give a real description and a real roadmap and a real template and a real restriction and parameters to how you, for different models that are going to use this in this. There are two main generic models. There are more than this. There are 4, 5, 6, 7 models. To us, we will discuss today what is the waterfall model. This is a very old classical model. And then we will talk about the iterative model, which is our main concern in this project, in this course. So I think you should have already, all of you, should have already seen this waterfall model in different courses. So waterfall model, this is a very classical one. It's based about first requirement definition, then make the system design, and then we have to make implementation, and then we have to make test. So the point, if you can see that all requirements are going to be defined before the development begin, before we have to start with the design. So I have to collect the whole requirement before I will start. The assumption of this model is that it is based on different phases. It's okay. And each phases will deal with different concept or aspect. So like the requirement phase, and each phase will have a documentation, and the output of the phase will be for the input for the next phase. Okay, good. So the advantage for such kind of let's say, of model, it's easy. Provide structure for unexperienced staff. Why we said unexperienced staff? Because even though you don't have staff that have different experience in different aspects, okay, you said the staff, now go ahead and using this form. Just now go to this. You finish this, now go to this. He doesn't have to do different, let's say, different aspects or different procedures with the same phase. It's good for management because before I go to the design, I have to finish all requirements. I will not have a requirement and design and implementation the same phase. So it's easy to manage it. Set requirement stability. Okay, this is good and this is bad. This is good because you define all your requirements now before you go to design then implementation. But this is bad because maybe sometimes you will find that this requirement needs to be updated based on feedback from the customers. So it is not easy to integrate new requirement in the system because you build the whole different phases based on the output for this requirement. So having a stable requirement is making it easier, but it will make it less compatible for any new update, and it will be tough to new update based on new requirement or sudden change happens in the business, whatever it will take place later. So this is discuss the advantage. Now, if you will go to the problems or disadvantages, as I have already said, all requirements must be known upfront. So as we said, suppose that now while you are doing the system or implementing, sometimes a requirement will be changed because some sudden change happened with the business. Or maybe lately, while using testing the software, we find, okay, there was a misunderstanding of some requirement, but it will not easy to integrate this. It gives a false impression of progress because sometimes you said, okay, I finished requirement, I finished design, I finished implementation. Okay, I'm already done. And you go to testing, oh man, no, it seems that I have many bugs. It seems that I have a problem in design, I have a problem in implementation. So you have to wait till testing to know your exact progress, if you are in a good track or not. You can't know your progress in different phases, and the upper phases in this case. And the most important for me, I see that there's little approaches to customer to preview the system, which means that your customers will not have a good opportunity to give you feedback in different unit. So suppose that you have to finish the whole program and then go to your customer and said, okay, customer, my lovely customer, see, this is your software. He said, no, this is not what I said to you. I told you something totally different. So in this case, oh man, they said, oh, what I have to do? I have to change to rerun it from the beginning. But however, if you can distribute your project in different units, and for each unit, you can make a design and testing, and implementation testing, and then go to the customer. This is one of the modules, one of the units. What is your feedback? Before I will go to the others. So the customer feedback will be integrated at the end, because the maintenance testing will happen after we finish all implementation. So in this case, there's a little opportunity to get a feedback from the customers before we finish everything. Who want to use this waterfall? If you use it when they are a very well known, which means that very well known, they are now very stable. As I said, I've already said, product definition is stable, technology is understood, or you are doing a new existing product for an existing product, which means that in this case, you know that this is an update, so they will not have a further update later. So let's make an observation about the disadvantages and advantages. So as said, the main problem was that the customer will be involved at the end after we finish implementation. However, if we make it different units and make an iterative, which means make the same cycle for this unit, that you will have this unit that you will make in this unit, you'll make a requirement collection for this unit, you make a design for this unit, you make implementation for this unit, as you can get customer feedback. And you can make implementation in parallel. Doesn't mean that you have to finish this iteration and go to other ones, then go to other one, go to other one. So you can have a different iterative work, and for each iterative, you will make the whole cycle. So in this case, you can get the customer feedback for different iteratives. And if there is some misunderstanding between you and him, in this case, you said, okay, customer, you have a misunderstanding, it's perfect, let's change it here and there before we will make the final delivery for the project. So this is why we will have something we name iterative development model. So iterative development model, we will have, let's say, a mini project within the same project, or a unit, or a modules, whatever you can say them. And you will have different phases for each unit. And in different phases for each iteration in this case, which means that you make an iteration, which have this unit, make another iteration, make third, fourth iteration. This is why I name it mini projects. And the point that I'm focusing so much about feedback because, by the way, my research is about machine learning. I made research in machine learning and AI system, artificial intelligence system. And we believe that whatever the machine and whatever your software it is and whatever your algorithm it is, and very smart, very intelligent algorithm, you always need a human being. Now in the social media softwares, or you said you make tags to different faces for different people, and then this platform will ask, is this person? Different people will give different feedback and make different voting, and then This will help their machine learning algorithm to learn again using the feedback. So AI always need a customer feedback or a human being feedback. So it's the same also here. So if you are developing a project, it's very important that this project can get a feedback and adapt itself, get feedback and adapt it itself before we start or before we finish the final version for this software. So in this case, having different iteration and having feedback for different iteration, it's very important. And it is the main core of iterative model. The most important version, that is the whole our project or the whole our course will be based on this. It is unified process model. So unified process model, it is an iterative development model based on object-oriented methodology. So I will repeat, unified process is an object-oriented system using iterative development methodology that we will see now. So it has 4 main phases. We will talk about different phases lately in the course. It has the inception, elaboration, construction, transition. Yeah, for sure, for us, the first 2 main phases, it's our main focus, because talk about the system analysis and design, we should be finished after the elaboration before we go to the construction. So, however, it's not like the waterfall model that each phase has to finish, then go to the other one. You will have different iteration in each phase. Let's see the other one here. Here, for example, you will see here that we will have different phases: inception, elaboration, construction. And for each phase, we will have a different iteration. As I have already said before, the focus of this course will be the inception and elaboration, because as we already see here, the most of the work of the implementation will happen here. So this is not our focus of the course. We will focus about business modeling and requirement, which is part of the analysis, and then and design. So the main focus will be of us here in the inception and elaboration phase. In the inception phase, we will talk, we will talk about here inception phase. We will talk more about business modeling and requirement, as I already said. And here in the elaboration, we will focus more in about design. Simran, do you have a question?
I'm wondering that why the analysis and design phase is going in construction part.
Not going or going?
Going.
Yeah, because in the construction part, as I already said, that you will have all this process discipline, but you will have focus more for different disciplines, which means that you will now start implementing requirement. Yeah, you finish your requirement, you finish your design. You know how you have different classes model. You know what is a classes and different functionality of each classes, and you go to implementation. But when you go to the implementation, you still have some requirement for this implementation to do the coding in a special way. So the requirement, the way you are going to code. So always you will have a requirement for this phase. But the point now, okay, this phase talk about implementation. I have to make implementation based on different design. But how I have to make this implementation? What is the requirement to do this implementation? Which means I go, okay, I make implementation. I have to make different commands. I have to comment everything, all the lines I have to do it. So sometimes you will have a requirement concern what is expected from this iteration. You get my point?
Yeah.
So, but when we said that all this, for example, here, you will not have a business modeling. You have to finish a business modeling here. But still there are requirements. Maybe you are going to integrate this requirement here, that this requirement will be concerning what you are doing here. And the main point here about iterations that we don't have in waterfall. In waterfall, for example, we have, let's suppose that design. Let's suppose this is design as your system. So, but you don't have different iteration. You have to finish all design. But in our case, we can break down this iteration, this elaboration phase, and then we have different iterations. And for each iteration, we will have a deliverable. And this deliverable, we can discuss it with the client and get a feedback. And at the same time, we can make another deliver for another iteration, which means another module or another unit in the software. And each software, we're going to make analysis and design, analysis and design, analysis design for it. And then we are going to discuss this with the client. So we will not have only one deliverable or one documentation to consult. So we will have a deliverable per iteration, per phase. I will repeat, we will have a deliverable or a milestone per iteration, per phase. And each iteration in each phase, it depends in which process disciplines it will focus more. For example, in this iteration, I will not have implementation. I have only requirement analysis and design. So the way you are going to apply the UP, Unified Process Model, depends on you. The Unified Process Model will say, okay, see, you have different phases and different iteration and different disciplines per iteration, per phase. But how you define this to do it where, it's depend to you. We will have a real case scenarios lately, which means that in this real case scenarios, we will discuss more about, okay, this is a real case, how we apply it, and in which phase and which iteration. You have more questions, Simran?
No, it's clear.
Okay, perfect. Some of you send me an email that asking if, yeah, but Simran, I have a question. When I send the email, you receive it, and the announcement, you receive it, yeah?
Regarding what?
When I said an announcement concerning the course, meeting time, or on different details.
Yes, I received then 2 emails. In first one, it was regarding all about the online course and the meeting times, and in second,
Okay.
it was the typo error that was a little mistake.
Because I'm receiving now an email for more than one person asking if there's a class today, so this is why I'm asking. If there's an online class for today, yes, we are in the class. Sorry?
The thing is that earlier UFP used Zimbra, so the students are getting confused that they are not receiving the notifications on Teams regarding the course team.
I understand, but this is why I send an email and announcement, so they should have already received this by their email either by using their inbox. Yeah, we will use only Microsoft Teams just for live sessions, but all the communication will be using Blackboard and emails, and also so I will upload the material all there. So Microsoft Teams just only for live sessions.
Okay.
I will reply to them maybe now. We are in the class. Oh. Microsoft. It's okay. Maybe next time they will. First day always will have some confusion and misunderstanding between different partners. It's 15. So you are planning to come here to Canada, but you can't because of COVID-19.
Actually, the direct flights are banned from India currently, but the indirect flights are going on, and it's quite expensive, around 3.50. 3.5 lakh. Yeah.
So, but maybe next semester we will return to classes, so you should be here next semester.
Yeah, I'm planning. Actually, the government has already said we can study till 31st December outside of Canada. So I'm currently planning to come in December.
I see. Okay, let's return to class. So the unified process, as already discussed, we will have each phase is split in different iterations. And each iteration consists of traditional process, which means that I said requirement analysis, design, implementation, but doesn't mean that all iterations should have implementation, analysis, design. So it can has it, and it can as part of this. So when I said here, which means that you will have all these disciplines in each phase, but each iteration can have requirement analysis, design, implementation, or can't. So it depends now how you are going to make a breakdown for the project for different iterations. But you have a very high flexibility, which means that you can always make a projection for a new requirement in any iteration, especially when you are making a design, you have to make a different units or different iteration, let's say, and each iteration it has its own requirement, implementation, and design. So all activities, they are based on object-oriented analysis and design. Object-oriented analysis and design. So perfect. Now, let's talk about what I mean by object-oriented analysis and design, because this is also a main course. So the main core of this project will be, or this course, I always say project because I believe that we are going to make a different project in this course. It's not, this is why I didn't ask you to make a quizzes midterms. So I believe I will be more happy if I see that you are making really, really nice. Lately we will have to discuss real case scenarios and make a real nice analysis and design. So we finish the part that say software developed model that we are going to talk about unified process model. Perfect. Unified process model use different phases, different iteration with different disciplines per iteration. Perfect. Okay, but it use because okay, the analysis and design based on which methodology? It will be object-oriented methodology. So let's talk about what is the object-oriented that we are going to do it. So a set of techniques, if we're talking about object-oriented paradigm, so it is a set of techniques or characteristics that use objects, then use the concept of actions or function. So Brainy is here, is asking what is an object? Let's answer before angry comes. Imran, you have to answer, sorry.
So whatever class we are having, when we are creating an instance of it, that is object, or the real-time identity, that's the object.
Real-time identity. Can you give me an example?
Yeah. So suppose we are having the class of car. So we are having the description, name of the car, and
Okay.
what's the speed it's giving, and other description. So if we are having a specific car, like we are having SUV, we are giving it a name, and it might have some
Perfect.
speed. So that's
so
an
there is a word I'm expecting from you. So if you said we have a car, so you mean the car is a class?
No, yeah, car is a class.
Perfect. So SUV in this case, what will be?
That
an
is
object?
Instance of the class.
Perfect. So we can say an object is an instance of a class.
Yeah.
We can define like this, yeah, simply like this.
Yes.
So an object is an instance of any class. Perfect. So what is any class? It is not Brainy question, it's my question.
So class is something in general for a specific category.
I see. So a class, let's say like it is a concept, is describing a concept with set of variables and functions. So if I said the human being, you Simran, you are an instance for a human being. Me, Ismail, I'm an instance from a human being. So we are object from a human being class, yeah?
Yes.
So if I said this human being, if I want to define it, I said there's a human being is something that can talk, laugh, eat, has a weight, has a length. So length and weight are parameters. Talk, walk, eat, they are functions. So it's describing a set, it is describing a concept using different functions and parameters. So it is a set of function and parameter describing a concept. Can we say like this?
So parameters are the variable part?
Yeah. So parameters will be lately, we as a programmer will say the parameter for them is a variable. But now we are not because it is a model. But this has to do with our analysis and design. So in our analysis and design, we have first in the using the requirement to describe what different concepts that we have. And then this different concepts, we have to describe the behavior and the parameters. This will happen in the design. So having an object-oriented approach for analysis and design, that we have to search for different concepts that we have it. And then in the design phase, we have to search for the behavior and the parameters of these concepts. So first, during the requirement, we have to collect what different concepts we have. I'm doing a software for a POS, a restaurant. So I will have an employee. I will have customers. I will have maybe different branches. So I have to collect from the requirement what different concepts I have it. And then, okay, the person there will say, okay, see, Ismail, I need that this employee can do this and this with a software. And he has this restriction and he has this, let's say this, he can access this level of access and all different issues. So now, and when I make a design, I have to define the functionality and the parameters for this concept. This is why we said it is an object-oriented approach. It's based on objects that come from a class. So that's when we said about object-oriented paradigm. So we are talking about I will send, maybe there are some people here don't know that we are here. So maybe we have now some, I don't know. So the analysis process, when you said object analysis process, which means that we have to understand the system requirement using the object-oriented concept, which means that we have to define the different concepts from the requirements that we have it. Okay. Object design is that after we define the requirement in the analysis and we define the different concepts, we are going to do the system behavior determined during analysis, which means that we have to find the function for this concept. The OOP, which means that we know in different programming courses, that means that, okay, object-oriented programming, C++, Java is object-oriented programming because we use a concept for class and object. Yeah, but in our case, this is the focus of the course. that we have to do analysis and design. We have to make an object-oriented analysis and design, an object-oriented design for this. So this project this course will focus on object analysis and object-oriented design using UP process, unified process. Let's take an example to understand more the difference between OA, OD, and OOP. So you are making a library info system. So in library info system, you will have a domain concept. What is the domain concept? Let's say book. So based on the requirement, you define the concept. So in the analysis part, we define the concept. And then design part, we define the different parameters and different functionality for this design, for this concept. This is design. In the OOP implementation, then we have to go and make the coding for this using OOP programming language. So our work will be here.
What we define in the domain concept, the book part, that is the object.
One, yeah. We define the class that we can create different instances from it lately.
Okay.
So when I said about concept, I'm talking about the class. And then lately, when I have to deal with this class, I have to deal with this class using an object as an instance from this class. Because a class is something abstract, an object something real. So you define the abstract and then you construct an instance from this abstract. You agree?
Yes.
Okay. So object versus functional. So what we have already discussed, that object-oriented analysis and object-oriented design. So we define different concepts. And then, but however, if we will not have this object-oriented analysis and design, if you have structured analysis and design, it's out of the scope of the project, of the course. We will have, for example, we said, okay, we will not talk about the concept. We start directly defining different functionalities that the system will do it. The system will make add resources, record long, whatever it is. However, in object-oriented analysis and design, we don't describe the functionality directly. First, we describe the concept after we collect the requirement, and then we make a mapping between the functionality and the different domain concepts. So now if you talk about analysis and design, so analysis is more about requirement collection, investigation, what is the domain? When I said what is the domain, which means understanding more the problem. While the design is more about describing the problem and start making a logical solution. So while understand the description of the solution by starting understanding the behavior of the different concepts that we have already defined in analysis. We will see this in the whole course, which means about the analysis and design and what different, let's say, UML programs, the forms, and we will see it during the lectures. So before we will sum up and we see what we learn in this course, there's this last part about UML tools. I think that UML tools, you have seen this in other courses. In our case, we will use this UML tools for different phases and different iteration, but we will use OO, which means object-oriented concepts. For example, in the analysis part, we will define use cases and domain model. So use cases, when we said use cases, that because when you collect your requirement, your requirement will talk about different scenarios. And these scenarios, it will be some paragraph written scenario. You have to based on this scenario, you have to create use case model. Use case model. We will talk about each one. We'll talk about it briefly during this course. So, but use case model will talk about each concept or character, what is functionality expected to do during this system. And then after we make this is can we see it as UML diagram that we will use in the analysis part. And then we will make a realization to the use cases and make a sequence diagram. Sequence diagram will give us a better image about the behavior of this different characters. And then from the domain model, we create something, we name it a class diagram. So we make a refinement to make a class diagram. This will be from design part. And we will use it in the analysis part. Yeah, true. And there is another, based on this and this, we'll go farther in our design to have a state chart, because this will be a pre-step before starting implementation. So this is a different UML diagram that we are going, maybe more, we will see more also, but this is a very general look about what different UML diagrams that we are going to deal with them in the analysis and design using object-oriented and unified process. So let's say it is harmful knowing how to read and draw UML diagram, but not, yeah, so, okay, I know what is UML diagram, how I can draw use cases. I put this man like this and then make as if he's talking about something. This is not the main issue that you know how to draw. It is important, but you should be expert in understanding the requirement and then investigate what is the different concepts that you have it, in order that you go and draw UML without doing it in a correctly way. So you should know how to draw the UML, but the most important to understand more about the use cases that you have in order to draw your UML diagrams that you have it. And when I said use cases, that which mean how we can modelize it in order to create different objects or different classes and then or concepts, and then you create different UML diagram lately based on this. So you are almost finished. We said, okay, today, what you base on what we said, we talked about different software models. We said, okay, we will use UP. We said UP different from waterfall, that you will have different iterations. And for each iteration, you can make requirement analysis implementation. Perfect. We said we use object-oriented. Perfect. So, and then we said you will use UML for this object-oriented methodology using this development model, UAP. Okay, so I said it, I summarized it. So we apply principles and patterns to create better object-oriented design. We will set common activities, analysis, and design based on your unified process. And we'll use many UML diagram for this analysis and design. Do you have any questions? Brainy asking that, what said he said? That's okay. He doesn't have any more question. He closed his book and said, if you have any more questions, just you can ask him now or forward to me and send it to me and I'll forward it to him.
No more.
Do you have any question?
It's quite clear.
Perfect. Yeah, I hope next time that we will have more. I will send another email after I uploaded them. I will upload them, the recorded lectures I uploaded now.
I think they are unaware about the Teams channel. That's the thing I think wasn't mentioned in the email.
Yeah, but I sent another email. I sent that the link will be in the Microsoft team.
Yes.
And I have already shared the Microsoft team link in the Blackboard. You can see it in your Blackboard, yeah?
In my Blackboard?
Yeah. If you go to my class and you can see that there is a place where there's I share the link for the Microsoft team.
I'll just check it out.
Please, in order to be sure.
Is it in the announcement part?
No, if you go to the course content, then let me do it, and maybe when they have to see the video, let me do it here, and when they see the video, maybe. Even though it is shared also in Microsoft Teams, so Microsoft Teams you can see it because you are all added to the channel.
I see one email in the Blackboard, and I think
Not, yeah, I'm talking about the course content. Yeah.
course content. I don't see the course content.
Why? Let me open my screen now. I'm doing.
It shows only the course
You
information.
can see my screen now.
Yes.
So if I go to the computer 371, here your course information here, the syllabus, the announcement, final exam, weekly live sessions.
I
You
can
don't see
see the
this?
weekly live session. No.
Why?
It shows me only announcement, syllabus, and virtual office hours.
Oh, it's strange. Now you can see it?
Now I can see it. Yeah, I just reloaded it.
Okay.
I can see the Now I can see the weekly live session tab. That's
But
a
how
re
you join the class today? Because from the email and you check it on Microsoft Teams?
No, actually, I'm a client guide in a team, so I was just checking out the students' questions, and I saw that I'm added to a new team, so I got to know in that way.
Okay, perfect. It's okay, but I will record it now, and maybe later if you want to join. It is an option, and there is no attendance because it is asynchronous online course. However, it's better that they can join in order that they can ask live questions during the lectures. It's nice to see you, Simran. And sure, if you want anything, you can just drop me an email, or you can join online office hour if you have any questions. The office hour will be using Zoom meeting. So as I already said, and here you can see now the virtual office hour, yeah?
Yes, I can see the virtual office hours.
And weekly live sessions, you can see it.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Okay.
I just want to say, could you please upload these slides?
Yeah, sure. I will upload the slide as PDF, and I upload the recorded video, both of them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Yeah? Take care. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.